Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Alex Green. Some of you may know me as a student of Lama Surya's. Other of you have probably seen me teaching Tibetan energy yoga on retreat. This is my second time. Maybe you saw me last week too, hosting here on Virtual Lama, Virtual Town Hall, where we have our precious Lama Surya Das joining us again this Sunday, as he has been for so long, offering this amazing opportunity to practice together free of charge. And because we have so much manpower and technical know-how and advertisements going into this, nothing is quite free. So any donation you might be able to make, no matter how small, would be of great appreciation to us. So you may have seen the ad that went up for our last masterclass, which is this Saturday. I will show that ad at the end with links to donate, to become a member, to join our final masterclass. And I believe that's it. So without any further ado, here's our Lama.
Hi, Lama Alex, thank you, and all you Lamas. Up, I feel a song coming. Old MacDarma had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm he had some dharma, E-I-E-Maho, with Lama here and a Roshi here a Sensei, there a Swami everywhere, Dharma, oh, and you know the rest. Last week we studied Row, Row, Row Your Boat, which is marvelous message. And next week, tune in and find out. Yes, keep singing and dancing with life. It's a beautiful Sunday here. I was just reading about my guru who named me and other dasas, well known to you, Maharaji, and here's a message. So I thought I'd just share it with you. Oh, and look, and there's some of my best friends in front. There's Chaitanya of Vermont and others. That's only 50 years ago, folks. Some people live in the now. I'm glad to say, not me. Literally 50 years ago. I think that's 1971 or two, that picture. Hard to believe. Where does it go? Like that. I remember being, and literally at the feet of the old guru, my root Lama Kalu Rinpoche in Darjeeling, which is in West Bengal, northeast corner of India, just below Bhutan and Tibet. And his face was creased like a roadmap, the old cave yogi of Tibet. Of course, he didn't speak English. I didn't speak Tibetan at the time, but we had a good translator, thank God, thank the Buddhas. And he was talking about impermanence, and life is short and fleeting and dreamlike, and make your choices and priorities and think about it and live now and have a meaningful life and contribute to the world, being a better person and all, make a better world. Working from inside out as well as from outside in through service, love and action, etc. And I thought, this is so beautiful, but it's old man's talk. He's going to die soon, not us. And I looked around and we're all 20. I was 22, I think, or 21. And we're all under 40, certainly, pretty much, or under 30 even. Old man's talk. And now, everything he said, and he said a lot more, I'll tell you, in those years. It's all come true. Well, thank God for the Dharma, the liberating spiritual teachings and transformative practice path. Otherwise, I would be dead. I hear somebody, you might want to mute. Anyway, such a beautiful morning. It's Sunday. Every day is a sunny day here. With a good mind, it's a good day. With a good heart, it's a good day. Like Alex, look at that boy. He's only about 21, but he's already a bodhisattva, a karma yogi. a teacher of little children, a yoga teacher, a good mate, a good son, a good brother, and a good student. Thank you, Alex. And I bow to you and all who sail on you into the light. I know you probably think we only do virtual these days. That would be a mistake. Alex comes here sometimes and we do stuff together, and he helps me in the library in my our Lama's Lineage Legacy Preservation Project, archives, and other things that we do together. I can't remember what. Eating probably, and laughing, goofing around. And some others drop by now and then, or I see them along the way. Although I've probably traveled less these days, these last year or two, than I have since when I was in college. My niece says I've settled down at last. Little does she know. Anyway, it's a beautiful, beautiful Sunday. It was so nice to get together. Unfortunately, COVID is still a concern. May even be spiking in some places, not to mention other things going on in the outer world to worry about and be concerned about at least, and maybe do something about it if we can, something intelligent, not just rush off cross state lines and interfere with other people's lives and business, never mind. Very few of us are 17 years old anymore, and so rash and short-sighted and reactive. In fact, this Dharma helps a great deal in staying in touch with the bigger picture, others as well as ourselves. Values, rights, equality, thinking before we act, having a moment of mindful awareness before we react blindly, so we can reflect and choose how, when, and if to respond, not just react blindly with knee-jerk reactions. This is where the wedge of mindfulness comes in between stimulus and response. Check it out, The Secret of Mindful Anger Management. Giving more space between action and reaction, so you can intentionally, principally, perhaps intelligently respond, choose how, when, and if to respond, or respond constructively, not just destructively or reactively like a knee-jerk reaction to provocation. You can remember what my grandmother taught me. Grandmother Ann Zakharov in the old country, who didn't know much. She didn't know about Buddhism, Shmoodism. She knew a lot of other stuff, and she was wise and loving. She said, "Sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never harm me, Jeffrey. Try to remember that when you're out there on the sports field." Which was my life in those days. I think I peaked too early. Maybe in junior high school or high school, I don't know, who knows. At the time, it didn't seem like that. It was just what it was. One didn't have perspective, which is back to how the bigger perspective can help us. Think about being in touch with the bigger picture and ongoingness. I'm not going to use a word like eternity, but not just being lost in what seems so important right now. Living in the now doesn't mean overvaluing it either. I would say whatever we think matters so much to us today, and we see this with children and teens, may not be as important as we think, not even in the long run, but tomorrow, next week, next summer. It's not the end of the world if we don't get into our first choice for college. Let me assure you, although we wish you the best. Well, those who are at that stage, of course, or have kids or grandkids at that stage. So breathing, relaxing, smiling, attuning and aligning gaining some space, some perspective, some clarity, alignment, not being bent out of shape, not being like Rodin's Le Penseur, the thinker, famous statue, like an accountant drooling over his paperwork at midnight, his or hers or theirs, drooling over their paperwork at midnight because they haven't paid taxes in a few years and they've been borrowing money from their clients' accounts to invest in I don't know what. I'm not going to pick on cryptocurrency or other things. There's plenty of gambling going on in the world, even without that label. But being erect, aligned, attuned, so that breath and energy and more subtle flow occurs naturally, circulating, not being bent out of shape, not cripping and making knots in our energy channels, in our breathing, not breathing shallowly, our voice goes up. Many yoga teachers tell us we hardly know how to breathe. It's something we can learn, although we're doing it all the time. We doing it, or it doing itself through us. But we can learn how to breathe better, deeper, even to be nourished by the in-breath and purified or holified or balanced by the out-breath. And in between, maybe there's 4 parts: breathing in, having a moment, breathing out, and another moment. So 4-part breath, as we do in Vajrayana, what do we call Vajra breathing, diamond breathing. Perhaps with a mantra even, if you want to have to pay attention more. Om, Hung, and rest. And again, Om, Hung. The 4-part Vajra breathing, aligning and attuning and arriving here on our Buddha seat, here and now, coming home to ourselves here and now, which is in any case the only place we can ever be. Why do we think we're elsewhere, living in the past or in the future? That's another imagination, just thinking. That's present awareness, remembering, present awareness, fantasizing, present awareness, nam-toking or self-judging. Present awareness is something we can rely on, a true refuge in these challenging times. Dostoevsky called it the battlefield of life. Well, that was his dark vision, but he was in Russia in those days. It was, not to mention the 10-month Russian winter. Look at all that we have around us, how well endowed, how safe and sane, you put sane in quotes, we are, because these may seem like insane times. They may or may not be any worse than any other times. Anyway, here we are, wading straight forward into the gleaming waves of life, not just tiptoeing around in the shallows, afraid to get wet, striding straight forward into the gleaming waves of life and enjoying it, knowing we can swim, we can float, we can deal with it. Well, we can learn to, we can ask for help, we can learn to, we can deal with it. We're strong, we're whole. At any age, in any shape, inner strength is more important in general, and certainly in the long run. The Dalai Lama often uses that phrase, inner strength. And there's so many levels to that can be thought of. Breathing in, inhaling the nutritious essences of life, of all the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. In the Vajrayana, we even visualize the 5 colors coming in and nurturing and nourishing and, like, I don't want to say composting, that's a little too throwaway, remnanty. alchemically transforming and transmuting in our heart locket, they call it, sealed with the Vajra. You're listening, yogis, inhaling the five elements, the essences, gooking it, as we lovingly say in Tibetan. Gooking means like hooking or lassoing or magnetizing, and sipping it, the essences, the kernel out of the husks of the elements and into our heart center and nurturing us. This is part of long life practice, longevity producing practice, vitality practices. There's so much in breathing. Naturally focusing, cultivating awareness by doing so. And being nourished and nurtured, and going deeper and enriching, strengthening our inner heart cave, inner strength. Not just health food, but healthy energy and essences of all the elements of which we're comprised of. Earth element, like on our bones and solid parts, and water element and all the flows in our body. Need I mention the different ones, red and yellow and white and other things? And fire element, the heat, the electricity, and so on, the five elements that we're composed of. You can read about it. Ask His Holiness the Gyalwang Drukpa, the master of the six yogas, or ask Google about longevity, tantric longevity practice, Vajrayana practice, breath and energy yoga, Tumo, etc. Anyway, here we are in America. We have central heating. We don't need to heat ourselves up like Milarepa did in his cave above the tree line, the snow line, excuse me, in Tibet. Imagine that, how he managed year after year through these practices, lighting the inner incandescence, the mystic light, including heat and energy, to survive in his barren cave above the snow line in Tibet, near the Mount Everest slopes. Here in our home, our hearth, so warm and cozy, safe. We even have freedom of religion here. Might not be able to do this in every country in the world. I don't know. Every gender might not be as free as it tries to be or almost is here. I don't know. Appreciating, savoring, enjoying, holifying, harmonizing, simonizing, rhapsodizing, imbibing the elements, breathing in and breathing out in English, letting go of everything, let the tides of breath recede. Gentle, if I harmonize, align. Now, the simple-minded sounding instructions of just sitting, just breathing, just awareing, might sound a little more rich, multidimensional, empowering, awesome even. Om. I'm turning the four-part body breath. Don't worry, we're not really trying to replicate it right now. This is just a little homeopathic dose of pithy instructions, boiled down essence of Vajra Dharma, yoga practice. Try eyes open, ears open, nose open. I know some people meditate with eyes closed, as I did in the 70s when I was learning insight meditation, God knows what other things, samadhi, etc. Eyes open, ears open. Tried that, guys? Nose open, mouth open. Anybody have that problem? Well, now's an opportunity. Mouth open, throat open, chest open, heart open, diaphragm open, anal sphincter relaxed, if not totally open. Heart and mind open, rest in the heart cave, imbibing the nutrition, subtle spiritual essences through Buddhist mysticism, Mantra Vajrayana practice. The yoga of reunion, not trying to unify what's been separate, coming home to oneself, the only place one can ever be here and now, like a bubble, momentarily bursting and returning in quotes to the sea from which it's never been apart. See all the way through and through, seeing through yourself and being free. Oh, bubbles. I am a bubble, Lord, Buddha, make me to see, as the song goes. I'm a bubble, let me be free. Eyes open, ears open, everything open, at ease, as is, seeing it as it is, leaving it as it is, being as is. The Dzogchen meditator's refuge, as it is. Leave it as it is and rest your weary heart and mind. Timo. Timo, light Timo. We're praying for your health and recovery. Resting in the heart of it all, the heart of the matter. I don't mind, it don't matter. I am a bubble that will be free through seeing the view, the bigger picture, the big tickly, the ultimate sphere. What they call the God without circumference, all center. Everything, yep, everything. Assume your Buddha seat. American Buddhas awaken. Way to go. Thank you. This breath, only breath, this moment, only moment. Imaho. Natural flow. Lagavia. Let it flow. Bimo. Bimo Mitra. What a relief. What a release. Drop everything. Buddha, get off the pot. American Buddhas, or whatever you are, awaken. Throw off your inherent biases, attachments, grasping, and fixation. Just breathing, relaxing, smiling, flowing, knowing. Awareness is curative. Awareness, aware of awareness, beyond projection or internalization. Let the breath breathe you. Let the thoughts flow through your mind. Are they really yours? Are you creating them? Do you have choice about whether they come up or not? I don't think so. Part of the automatic nervous system, as I call it, just like breathing. American Buddhists, throw off your nam-tokes, your superstitious beliefs, fixations, inherent bias, selfish greed, self-interest, just for a moment, and see what else might be possible. In the Buddha mind, the Jesus heart, the heart of it all, in light, the heart cave, the heart's workstation. Free and easy, calm and clear, grateful, appreciative. What a relief. Wondrous, miraculous, eureka, hallelujah, amen. Yes, 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 thank you. Way to go. Enjoy the natural, non-meditation, great, natural, great perfection. Hmm. Ah. Sky gazing, space mingling, infinite dissolving. Gazing into the mirror of emptiness, the Buddha's eyes. Minding the mind, eyeing the eye. Two eyes, one eye, no eye, who knows? Let it go. No body, no mind, no mind, no matter. Enjoy the joy of being, the unmeditation of the luminous, the natural, the innate great completeness, the great perfection. So Chant Kuntizapo's meditation. The awake Buddha within, known as the primordial protector, the ultimate source or spring, Kuntizapo. Gazing at itself. Way to go. Imaho. Love it. Oh, mani padme hum re. Oh, mani padme hum re. Oh, mani padme hum re. Oh, mani padme hum. Mani padme hum. Mani padme hum. Oh, mani padme hum re. Oh, mani padme hum re. Oh, mani padme hum re. Oh, mani padme hum. Mani padme hum. Oh, mani padme hum. Oh, mani padme hum re. Mantra 3. Oh, mani padme hum. Oh, mani padme hum re. Oh, mani padme hum. Mani padme hum. Mani padme hum. Oh, mani padme hum re. Oh, mani padme hum re. Oh, mani padme hum re. Oh, mani padme hum. 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 Oh, mani padme hum re. The jewel is within the lotus. The light, the Buddha, enlightenment, the wakefulness is within our spiritual unfolding. Like the lotus blossoming, it's within, from within. The light in that shadow, don't overlook it. Alex, could we see His Holiness the Galwang Drifter's prayer, please? Those who want to join in, we can chant it together, say it together, think it together, wish it. Can we see the title? Yes. Thank you. You can Google this, Google him. He has a wonderful website, blog, many monasteries, teachings, books. He's an enlightened master, staying in Nepal now with his monastery there during the pandemic. We pray for his long life and flourishing of his liberating, compassionate Buddha activity. I call on you, my teachers, kindly regard us with compassion. We sincerely wish to receive your blessings and encouragement, guidance, and protection. Please regard your child's longing desire. Please bless us with the resolve to attain spiritual realization. Please bless us to have a steady and smooth mind, so that for this life and those to follow, as a true practitioner whose heart and mind are in accord, are in balance, are aligned, the special intention to help others, that is bodhicitta, the altruistic, compassionate impetus toward enlightenment, is spontaneously present. May I be able to benefit measureless numbers of beings. Without the toxic stains of a competitive mind, without the intoxicating liquor of anger and lust, may I be able to practice the peaceful and soothing, liberating, edifying Dharma. Through listening and reflecting and examining, especially about those teachings we practice, may we be able to precisely determine their definitive meaning, gain conviction for ourselves, raising the victorious flag of the ultimate practice. May be able to accomplish great service to the Dharma and to all beings. This is the way I pray all the time, and I request all of you to support these, my prayers. Thank you for joining me in this happy, prayerful moment. Life is precious, handle with prayer, as we say. What a beautiful day. It's so nice to get together, raise the spirit, co-meditate, intermeditate, interbe, connect, reconnect, enrich our meaningful connection with ourselves, with each other, and beyond, with that which is transcendent over any of us and immanent in each and all of us. By whatever name, it's even more sweet. I was enjoying the thought, the poetic, the kind of amusing words that came up. American Buddhas awaken, throw off your inherent biases. One could extrapolate. American juries awaken, throw off your inherent biases. Lobbyists awaken, throw off your greedy cravings and selfishness. So many things we could say, outer and inner. But turning the outwardly focused attention inwards, since we're spending this hour in contemplative sweetness, working on ourselves, as they say, taking the backward step from our usual forward charging treadmill momentum-based to-do lists and projects, our life, making the backward step to take stock, to reflect upon ourselves, our lives, our relations, our world, to set our priorities straight, if you want to use that word, to make better choices. I'm not going to say the right choices, but you know what we're talking about. To pay attention, not be always distraction-holics. Pay attention, be mindful, we're mindful of what we're doing while we're doing it. Be incandescently present, not living at a little distance from our body, not out of our mind, not just living in our head either. Following this path that has heart, as the Yaqui master of knowledge used to call it, Castaneda's guru, Don Juan. Only give me a path that has heart. Into the mystery. Not always having to know or be a know-it-all, or have a name or a concept for it. In Zen, we call it no mind with a hyphen, not being a dummy or a simpleton, but tuning into more than just conceptual, analytical intellect. Also opening to, plumbing, utilizing the intuition and other aspects of ourselves. Thinking is a good tool, but a poor master. The problem is we're too much under its power. Cultivating awareness is a little different. We can be aware of thought. We don't have to fight to try to stop thinking like beginning meditators might. Stopping thoughts is not meditation. Mindful or aware of thoughts and feelings, perceptions is Buddhist meditation. Anyway, I could warble on. I thought I might open the field for a few questions. By the way, someone was asking me what was that Chinese wisdom book that I'm always recommending, the Tao Te Ching, and I always mention Stephen Mitchell's translation. I happen to have a newish one here. Anyway, here's how you spell it, the Tao Te Ching. I'm not giving the English name because there are a million different translations, the way and its power, the great flow and things like that, the Tao Te Ching. The wisest book ever written. It can definitely compare with the wisest part of the Western Bibles, Ecclesiastes. Anyway, We don't want to be just bookstore Buddhists. It's hard to find a bookstore today anyway. Any questions? Alexis, please.
Yes. Lama, we have a question.
He loves it. Yes.
I love the questions. So
Me too.
yeah. So this question asks, it's from Mark, who asks, how do you chant so hum? I can't form a word on the in-breath. How do you continuously chant even during the in-breath? Thank you.
Great question. Starting from the top, swooping down from above, jazz breathing, where you know how to breathe out and keep playing even while you inhale. If that's not natural to you, that's a little advanced. You chant to yourself. You don't necessarily have to voice it or aspirate it. So the mental chant, the mind mantra. Yes, you can look these things up. I'm not just making it up. The outer mantra involves the lips and the vocal cords and the breath, of course, and energy and intention and concentration, the mind. But the inner mantra, you could say it to yourself, just like we hear jingles or sing to ourselves. I'm not even mentioning talking to ourselves, the constant inner monologue. This is not far from any of us. So the inner mantra, we're a combination. So, or Om Ahung, I was trying to demonstrate it before without spending 15 minutes filling up our meditation time with discussing the Vajra breathing with the 4 parts. So is easy with the out breath, but how about Om with the in breath? If you see what I'm saying, Mark. So the outer mantra is what we usually think of as mantras, like music, we usually think of as sound, but the inner music is the inner. And then there's the more, vast or mystical, like the celestial choir, the Taos hum, as they call it in New Mexico. The ground sound. In the beginning was the logos, was the vibration, was the Om. Not the word as so weakly translated. The beginning was the Om, the logos, the word, the verb. God is a verb, not a thing. So the cosmic sound, just the mantra, like the resonance of breath, the resonance of metabolism. You can hear the Taos hum in your temples of the blood beating. You know what I'm saying? Are you doing that? So that's a mantra you could concentrate on and meditate on, an inner mantra, a secret mantra without words. So in the Soham practice, you can read about this. It's often in the yoga books. It comes from the ancient Hindu Upanishads, if you want to call them Hindu. Soham or Om Ahung with the 4-part breathing or other things. Or the inner Om, to get it more simple, maybe not everybody knows or has read in Awakening the Buddha Within or wherever I wrote about this, about Soham. How the swans sip or separate the milk from the water, meaning the kernel from the husk of things, the light or the divine from the illusory. The image from the ancient scriptures of the white Hamsa geese, who supposedly can separate wine from water, milk from water. The white swans of India, the Hamsa geese, they're called, that swoop down even into the depths of the lake and bring up the lotus buds, like the Bodhisattva swooping down into the lower realms and bringing up the beings to the light. So there's a Bodhisattva practice of separating small mind and infinite awareness, or conceptual mind and Buddha mind. Anyway, Om. If you say Om, that's a mantra. We all know that. It's a mantra syllable. It's a seed syllable. If we just think Om and meditate on that, that's the inner mantra. Om, Om. The inner mantra, silent mantra. Then there's the secret Om of just vibration, the inner sound. If you've been in a samadhi tank, in English, a sensory deprivation chamber where there's absolutely no sound, according to, the engineers and the science that makes that experience for you. What do you hear? You hear, as your awareness gets more subtle, the pounding at the temples, the sound of silence, whatever you want to call it. I mean, the pounding sounds a little heavy. The heartbeat at the temples, the feeling in the wrists, you get more subtle awareness. Then you get down to the soundless sound, which is the true Om. In the beginning was that logos, the law, the nature. I don't know what, the God gene, as I saw on the cover of a Time magazine. Oh, they discovered the God gene in the brain. Well, great. I'm glad at least everybody has it. Not just members of one church. So the inner sound, the inner mantra practice, concentrating on that. I hope that's helpful, folks. Mark, good question. Thank you.
Thank
We
you,
had a
Lama.
question. We had a Ask the Lama question last weekend, and the jumping off point was mantraology, japa yoga, mantra yoga, chanting, mantras, practice, etc. in Tibetan Buddhism. It was very interesting.
Thank you so much, Lama.
Alex, are you chanting and meditating on mantras these days?
I am. I'm a big fan of the path clearing mantra and wish fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy that one, and of course, I'm starting to hear Om Mani Padme Hum at random times, right? Or maybe not so random, and I let it flow from there. I love that one too. Really good
You can
stuff.
get that on a DVD these days. It's taped at the Bodha Stupa in Nepal, but I can't tell you the title of it. But there are, what I call DVDs. You can probably download it from the sky, wherever that lives, from the cloud, from, not iTunes or somewhere, some Buddhist source.
Wonderful.
That's for everybody to hear, not just you, Alex. You can download.
So,
or get it. I bought a CD in a Tibetan store last week and play it on my Bose CD player. That's where I'm at.
YouTube is
back in Nepal, walking around my teacher's temples and being footloose, feckless, and completely and utterly fine. Not even reading, if you can imagine that. That's how far it takes me.
That's beautiful.
Beyond my usual self. Well, I can see that we've, as Click and Clack says on the radio and here in Boston, we've wasted another perfectly good hour of a Sunday morning together. Now we'll hear a word from our sponsors.
Thank you, Lama. So, my friends, please, any little bit helps. We have the link for donations there put in the chat. We also have a link to our virtual masterclass. This is the last session of this season, I suppose, or course, that will be on Saturday, December 11th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also have a link to become a member. Remember, membership has its perks, including members only retreat access. So do check those things out. Thank you so much, Lama, for your time. And thank you all of you for coming.
Thank you. Have a beautiful day. Love to one and all. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe. Om Snap Snap EDH. Om.
Hi, Patty. I got your message. Give me one moment, please, to pull that up, and I will send it to you before I end our session today. Did you get that? Perfect. Goodbye, friends. Be well.